Good evening and welcome to the news on Canal International. We're broadcasting live from our studios in Douala. Here now is Kejang Henry Atembe with the pace setup for this installment on the headlines.
As students in final years begin registration for official certificate examinations, the government has warned schools against extortion in the name of extra examination charges, reiterating the consequences of such an act, as principals have been warned to refrain and respect only charges prescribed by the examination board and the Ministry of Education. Millions of Cameroonians are suffocating with soaring prices of basic commodities in the market, and as the cost of living is growing at almost double the 4.4% inflation rate, some households are scavenging for leftovers and waste in dustbins. And Kamala Harris concedes to Donald Trump following a call and offers to help with peaceful transition of power, but insists the political battle will go on. From the banks of River Vuri in Douala, the 6:15 news rolls out in a jiffy with primetime anchorman Tariq Divine Ramsey.
Good evening once again. Now, in the wake of this week's landslides at the Cliquez, otherwise referred to as La Falaise, travelers have been advised to take the alternate route from Bafang, Banja to Bafoussam. However, this detour, which is more than 50 years old, is said to be causing a lot of headaches to motorists and local residents. Here's T. Maureen.
In the wake of the landslides that disrupted travel through Nchang, the government has designated the Bafang, Banja, Bafoussam road as the official detour. However, this alternative route is far from adequate, with transport operators and local residents expressing frustration and concern over its dire condition. The roadway, worn down over decades, is now a patchwork of cracks and deep potholes, some reaching depths of over 40 centimeters, making travel slow and hazardous. Drivers describe the detour as crawling, noting that it can take up to 3 hours to cover just 60 kilometers between Bafang and Bafoussam. The road's poor state not only slows travel but also leads to frequent vehicle breakdowns. Many transporters express frustration, calling the journey an ordeal.
Bafang Banjun, vraiment la route elle est très grave. Et ça fait à ce que nous on a même les pannes sur la voiture. Il faut que le gouvernement essaie de voir quelque chose.
The strain of maneuvering around large potholes takes a heavy toll on vehicles, leading to costly repairs. For drivers, each trip on these routes increases the risk of breakdowns, adding to the financial burden. For residents living near the deteriorating route, safety is now a constant concern. The damaged road forces vehicles to swerve around potholes, often resulted in dangerous situations where cars slip on the off-track. One local resident shared fears for families living along the roads who feel increasingly vulnerable to the risk of accidents. Officials are now under pressure to restore the vital itinerary.
Meantime, in the capital Yaoundé, the state of roads has become a daily nightmare for drivers and pedestrians alike. Gaping potholes and crumbling infrastructure have not just become an inconvenience, they are a serious hazard, making everyday journey a precarious challenge for city dwellers. Here's Beatrice Ngamo.
A survival of the fittest, not for those who want, but who can, swimming their way through from one end to the other.
C'est vraiment difficile, vous voyez comment ça se passe là, donc c'est très difficile pour les chauffeurs.
Even commercial motorbike riders who used to meander their way easily between cars are lost. They need to wait for their turn. We are at the Mokolo, Cité Verte, Corbicok area in Yaoundé.
Sinon, c'est déplorable, surtout en pleine ville comme ça.
Entering in and coming out of this chocolate roof with consequences on the cars. Engines at times dies in the process.
Parfois, les moteurs se noient ici.
One of the major assets from Mokolo to Corbisson. And
on a quand même espoir que les pouvoirs publics vont faire quelque chose pour nous.
Is on the way.
Why are you charging extra fees? The regional delegate for secondary education in the littoral region asked one of the school heads during an unannounced visit.
Écoutez-moi, le BEPC, c'est quoi?
With parents burdened by unjustified fees for official exams, the pressure is now mounting on school administrators. The delegates' recent operation revealed evidence of inflated fee for exams such as the BPC, Probatoire, Baccalaureate, and the Vocational Aptitude Certificate, triggering immediate action.
We have been informed that many of those schools are not following the amounts that are prescribed. So that is why we are out today, to make sure that the information that we receive is true, and where it's true, we ask those head of schools to reimburse the parents.
The delegate has issued a 48-hour ultimatum to these principals, demanding that they refund the extra fee taken from parents. This investigation, which began on November 6, 2024, has already uncovered irregularities in several public and private schools across Douala.
48 hours. So by Friday, next Friday, we want them to reimburse that money and send the documents to the divisional delegates.
Of the country, here's Hyacinth Chair.
My Vote, My Voice is an initiative to serve as a wake-up call to youths, women and persons with disabilities to take their civic responsibilities serious in the 2025 presidential elections.
Our project, My Vote, My Voice, aims to bridge the gap by mobilizing more citizens, especially women, youth, and people with disabilities, to register and engage in the democratic process. By boosting voters' registration, we strive to ensure that the voices of all Cameroonians are heard and represented in the 2025 elections.
Presented to the press this November 7 in Yaoundé by Action for Development and Empowerment, the actors have put in place strategies to create maximum awareness.
To train 100 youth leaders, community mobilizers and influencers on civic engagement and political participation. This training will hold in Yaoundé and in Gandere in the month of November. We are going to be making use of mobile caravans that will be walking out the streets of Yaoundé and Gandere to sensitize youth to get registered.
These accompanied by communication mechanisms, especially through the social media platforms.
We're going to create a Facebook page, My Vote, My Voice, where youths who are mostly on Facebook can be able to access the information we are going to be passing out. What we are going to put in place is a podcast where we are going to be inviting active citizens who are going to be talking about political participation and civic engagement. With
the target of registering at least 10,000 voters in 2025, Action for Development and Empowerment seeks to engage other political stakeholders to get the required results.
On to something else now. The shortage of public toilets across Cameroon's urban centers continues provoking concerning behaviors. Almost on a daily basis, shocking scenes are documented of men and women of all walks of life relieving themselves in bushes, behind cars, or on the walls of people's houses. Cynthia Latte has been keeping the tabs on the concerning matter and now reports.
Disturbing scenes unfold daily in the economic capital city Douala as men and women release themselves in bushes, behind cars, near homes or in hidden places.
Quand nous arrive de faire des urines, on est obligé de sortir chercher les herbes des endroits obscurs ou des vieilles voitures garées à côté pour se soulager.
Tu vois l'endroit où tu peux ta moto en sécurité, tu gardes la moto, tu te mets à l'aise, c'est ça.
You don't have any choice. You always sit by the side of the road where there is grass and eat yourself.
The practice is prevalent. Pungent smells often permeate neighborhoods. Public toilets are rare, leading to difficult situations to street vendors like Jeanette.
As I'm walking like this, as I'm selling, when I saw where there is grass, that's where I ease myself. So, but when we are selling where there is a public toilet, we go there and ease ourselves there.
The lack of access to clean toilets not only leads to discomfort but also to serious health risks.
Aujourd'hui, je ne pisse plus dans la rue parce que
I stopped urinating in the open air because I got infected and I spent a lot in the hospital to have myself treated. But it's not easy for anyone in this town because when you are in Yupwe, for instance, and toilets are in New Bell, you cannot wait to get there. Some residents limit their beverage intake to avoid embarrassing situations while others search for more discreet spots. But what is the sustainable solution to address this issue?
Mais on interpelle justement le gouvernement à mettre beaucoup de plats.
We call on the Cameroon government to take action and build public toilets in neighborhoods, roundabouts, and important places to allow Cameroonians to release themselves with dignity.
Mieux se soulager.
The urgency of addressing this phenomenon cannot be overstated as it affects not just individual comfort but also the overall well-being of the community.
Now in Douala, a group of young people, including internally displaced persons as a result of the Anglophone crisis and the ongoing conflicts across the northwest and southwest regions, have found a way to survive by recycling waste. Yet, despite their efforts and contributions to eco-cleanliness, they are increasingly facing eviction threats by council agents in Douala. Cynthia Latte once again.
At first glance, what might appear to be a mere waste depot is actually the lifeline for families in this recycling environment, serving as a base for over 50 recyclers who depend on it for their daily bread.
Nous, on recycle les cartons.
Here we recycle cartons and plastic bottles. A kilogram of carton is sold for 40 francs CFA, while a kilogram of plastics is sold for 50 francs CFA. Some people generously donate their gently used clothes and equipment to us. We sell these items to help sustain our families. Bertrand Tafo, a veteran in the field, has been engaged in this work for the past 31 years. Throughout the years, he has relocated several times due to the threat from the council, ultimately settling here in Makepe, Rompuleng. We are not given the right to exercise here. These authorities come and get what we recycle at an insignificant price. We are abandoned to our own fate. They are the ones reaping. Here, carefully sorted recyclables await buyers. Some recyclers have made this 8-year-old base their home, each with a unique story of how they ended up in this environment. I lost my jobs and landed in serious troubles. I wanted something that could sustain me without bothering any other person, and someone advised me to take up this activity. Despite the health risks associated with working in these conditions, including illnesses from inadequate protection, their determination remains unshaken, and they have taken additional precautions to safeguard themselves.
On lave les mains, on se lave, on change des habits. Comme je suis là maintenant, il veut me changer encore.
While their activities sometimes raise suspicions amongst locals, many recognize them as environmental warriors deserving of support.
On ne sait pas d'où ils sortent. Ceux qui dorment là, dans la soirée, ils nous agressent. Et en journée, on n'est pas en sécurité.
It's a good idea. They recycle old bottle and then they help the population of Makepe with their good job.
Their hope is to be able to operate freely and continue their vital work.
Si le gouvernement mettait la main derrière les recycleurs, on pourrait bien gagner la vie. Parce que on ne gagne rien de bon alors qu'il y a un trésor caché dans la poubelle.
As they await government assistance, these youths continue in their recycling routine.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching the 6:15 p.m. news in English on Canal International. We're broadcasting live from our studios in Douala. Now, onions, and especially the red varieties, are making a striking comeback on market shelves across the country, with many households now referring to them as their preferred choice. So what explains the surging popularity of red onions? Here's Beatrice Ngamo reporting from Yaoundé.
The preference for the red onion is seen in the high demand in the markets today. The bags keeps emptying one after the other, buyers taking home their delicacy. It finishes fast. I took 5 bags. Just this in front is remaining. One of the greatest vegetable source of quercetin, plant compound with charming flavor, which no one intends to miss as a spice. Raw or cooked, the attachment to the red onion, an old history. It, when prepared, becomes soft in the pot, but the red keeps its nutrients. Its nutritional value abound: heart health, better blood sugar regulation, and increased bone density. I prefer red onion because it is good for health and it's like medicine. It can be said that red onion precisely is a detoxifier. Good for all food, vegetable like tomato sauce, porridge, peanut soup, and more. Virtues of red onion abound. Popular choice for health-conscious foodies. Rich in bioflavonoid, and it is the red color that gives the capacity of being more antioxidant than the others. Eating raw is more advantageous. When we have cough, cold, it helps a lot. Availability is what most households should not miss. Red onion spice favor all for dishes.
Let's engage a detour now and come back to politics, because President Paul Biya, in a telegram addressed to Donald Trump on Wednesday, congratulated the newly elected American president on his brilliant re-election. Ironically, Trump's victory coincided with the 42nd anniversary of Paul Biya's own rise to power in Cameroon. The Cameroonian leader praised Trump's leadership and ability to guide America towards progress in what he called uncertain times. And with that, we call it quits on this installment of the news on Canal International. Thanks for staying with us, and from all of us, we say have a great evening.